Hello, everyone! Bom dia a todos no Brasil, sejam bem-vindos. Dzień dobry Państwu, Serdecznie witamy. I am Nelson Linhares, in charge of trade and investment promotion at the Brazilian Embassy in Warsaw, and would like to heartily welcome you all to the second webinar of the BraSilesia Accelerator, an initiative carried out by the innovation ecosystems of the region of Silesia in Poland and of the state of Minas Gerais in Brazil. BraSilesia is a program which ultimately aims at connecting Polish and Brazilian startups as well as innovative SMEs to business opportunities in Brazil and in Poland. Robert Bielan, partner at the Silesian VC fund Invento, will, in a moment, offer more details on the BraSilesia program. But before that, I would also like to highlight that today's webinar is focused on businesses. So you will hear major and innovative SMEs as well as startups from both Poland and Brazil talk about their experiences and what is most relevant to their demands regarding cutting-edge technologies, such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, and 5G. It will be an opportunity to also hear what worldwide known consultancy firm KPMG has to say on the impact of such technologies on people and on planet Earth. You will also be exposed to funding opportunities for R&D activities both in Poland and Brazil. And which is most important, you'll be able to have on-one meetings, discussions, face-to-face sessions with our speakers and other participants at our virtual cocktail meeting at the end of all presentations. So please stay tuned. Now, as earlier mentioned, you will learn a bit more about the BraSilesia program. And for that, I give the floor to the partner of Silesia-based VC fund, Mr. Robert Bielan.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Good morning to all Brazilian and Polish guests. On behalf of all Polish-Brazilian team of BraSilesia, I welcome you warmly at the webinar. Today we are proceeding, and with my short presentation, I want to introduce you BraSilesia Accelerator and briefly present program framework we want to offer to companies from Poland and Brazil. BraSilesia is a business initiative funded and jointly, and it is the most important, that it is jointly run by Polish and Brazilian partners, included all co-founders, Katowice Special Economic Zone, INDI, Minas Gerais Promotion and Trade Agency, Federal University of Viçosa, tecnoPARQ, Spinus with Silesian University, and Invento, represented personally by me today. Our mission is to create tools, support activities to enable Polish and Brazilian companies to cooperate on works on new product or technologies and to help them to enter a foreign market. We want to bring entrepreneurs from both countries a chance to validate market potential with experts from Poland or Brazil, exchange domain knowledge, and finally, we want to help them to start and develop business abroad. What's more, we want to create a condition for companies to have a chance to find technological partners abroad and to to start with them working on new product or technologies and to create some new R&D projects. We address our offer especially to companies running business in such sectors like IT, robotics, artificial intelligence, fintech, agriculture, medtech, cloud computing, or clean tech sectors. The most important for us would be, and we will put special attention to them, are sustainability and impact projects. We address our offer in the accelerator mostly to small and medium-sized enterprises, but also to startups, but having at least a minimum viable product or technology from both countries, Poland and Brazil. In few words, I want also explain you how the program is going to work. Now we are organizing the webinar targeting that we firstly must to bring knowledge and deeper insight for entrepreneurs on market requirements and perspectives in both countries, Poland and Brazil. Today, we're targeting IT solution for agriculture and industry, but in upcoming weeks, we want to organize 2 more webinars focusing on clean tech technologies and solution and for medtech and biotech solutions in the third webinar. By our accelerator program, we want to select the best teams and startups and small and medium-sized enterprises ready to expand to foreign markets. After the webinars at the beginning of November, we want to launch a real acceleration program and start call for project. We thinking to select 12 companies, 6 from Poland and 6 from Brazil. We are going to work with, and we want to offer them special 3 months acceleration trainings and workshops covering the most crucial issue probably for them, like how to build a scalable international firm, how to discover new clients and market, and how to raise money from VC funds for international expansion. For best companies, we will prepare a demo day on which they have a chance to present to investors, to potential clients and partners. The best firms would also get investment rounds prepared by us and by VC funds we are going to cooperate. The best teams, and it is the most, I think, significant in our program, will be equipped with full soft landing support, enabling them to set up a company, hire employees, and start and develop activities abroad, respectively in Poland and in Brazil. So I hope our program will be interesting for your companies, and I invite you to apply to BraSilesia Accelerator. You could find more information about the program and about the BraSilesia on our website, brasilesia.com. We will be also available for you today in the virtual private room called BraSilesia after the main part of the conference. So feel free to contact us and to ask any questions. We try to answer for all of them and to discuss with us your needs and what we can do by this program for your companies. Thank you for attention. I wish you interesting presentation and speeches today. And now I pass the floor to Mr. Nelson, who will lead you through the conference. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Robert, for your broad and clear description of the BraSilesia program. I'm sure it's going to be a huge success. Now, what are the impacts of new technologies on people's lives? And those impacts on planet Earth? To learn more about that from a global market perspective, I am honored to give the floor to the KPMG Senior Manager, Bartłomiej Łatka.
Hello, thanks for that. Welcome everybody. I'm Bartek Latka from KPMG and I have the honor to give this presentation today. In KPMG, I'm responsible for business advisory services in area of Industry 4.0. Well, before I start, if you find my presentation interesting, don't hesitate to join me on LinkedIn, where I'm sharing frequently insights on and publications, often in English. So I'd be more than happy. So I will put my link here on chat after the presentation. Okay. Well, it's the first slide, yeah. I would like to start with some clarification what I understand behind all those hype phrases like Industry 4.0 or connected enterprise or smart agriculture, because we'll use them these days very frequently, I guess. Let's start with basic picture. What we need to make production business on large scale these days. Basically, you need an enterprise, so the company that consists of people, machine park, facilities, and of course capital. Then you need information, know-how, data processes, and software. Basically, today we can't run any business without software. That's really, really interesting, I guess. And we need markets. Market our customers, but as well suppliers, logistics, and marketing activities. So what's interesting, while information part, so this on the left side is already digitized. So information we have digitized at all, mostly. The market is going digital very fast due to COVID-19, even faster because of e-commerce mostly. But the enterprise is just starting to go digital these days. Some would ask why. Well, we have already automation, we have SCADA, we have ERP, we have MES systems, and so on. We are digitized, they say. But a digitization is not a goal itself. Those companies, in order to be digital, they have to connect to the market, to automate, to orchestrate, and speed up information exchange. And they have to connect all the stuff they already have to IT systems to get access to huge data lake for taking better and better decisions. Because as we know, we have automation already since 60 years or something like that. But it's not connected. It's getting connected these days. To go more into detail, at KPMG, we are using a kind of map to understand all aspects of Industry 4.0 and to sort it out. And I'm using this picture anytime I'm talking with customers, partners, suppliers, and other players on the market. And what's funny is there's no single company covering the whole picture. By the way, no single company that could be asked for make my company 4.0 from A to Z and take my money. So there is no such company on the market. Let me explain this a little bit. On the right side of this slide, we have, let's say, a classical application like IoT, Internet of Things, like robotics, like supply chain automation. On the left, there are those less obvious but still strongly related to the 4.0 idea. But what's most important, and let me change your focus on the central part. I think the IT systems are those that make enterprise connected, not robots, not smart sensors, not fancy shop floor control, but IT systems. IT systems get all that stuff together to work for better understanding. Okay, so let's go to hard market data. First pictures are about robotization. Why? Well, it's because it's a huge accelerator for other 4.0 technologies. You can't just run robots without integrating it with IoT sensors, with infrastructure, with systems like MES and ERP, and you are wasting your opportunities if you are not using data they already provide. So this chart is in thousands of units deployed during the year. And that's not surprising, probably, that there are undoubted leaders like China, Japan, United States, Korea, or Germany. And what's more surprising me is that, the Poland and Czechia are in these first 15 countries in terms of robotization factor. I think you are not aware of that Poland and Czechia are emerging leaders for automotive and household appliances sector. But the number of newly installed robots remains moderate, I would say. I will show it on the next slide in more detail. Well, this slide about robots density, understood as number of robots compared to 10,000 employees working in the business. So as you see, it's growing really fast. It's roughly 20% year by year, and you could also see that automotive is undoubtedly leader of that area. What's surprising, while Europe has similar density robots to the rest of the world, but Poland and Romania have less than half, Romania even 1/4 of this average density. And it's not because we are post-Soviet countries. For our Brazilian colleagues, it's just 30 years after the breakdown of Soviet Union. So it's not I remember that. Because that's not because Czechia and Slovakia, as you see on the right, are far beyond this average. So this is not because we are post-Soviet countries. It's maybe it's not because Poland has not too many manufacturers. Well, in fact, it's the opposite. And I will show you. Well, this is Polish market potential in terms of manufacturing companies. And I guess it's the picture is really impressive. There are 3.2 million people working for the sector, and there are 4,000 manufacturers with more than 10 million euro of turnover yearly. And 278 are those biggest, employing over 1,000 people and selling over 100 billion euro in total. So they have money to spend on investments, I hope. And it's interesting fact that every 10th of automotive parts sold in European Union and is from Poland, actually, and every third wash machine is manufactured in Poland these days. So, present on European markets. So, I think we have a strong manufacturing sector here. On the right side, there is another interesting breakdown that shows which subsectors are those with biggest market share in terms of turnover. Apparently, we have food, electronics, and automotive, and all these subsectors are highly impacted by Industry 4.0 solutions. Okay, so let me share some personal insights, what really matters on the Industry 4.0 market in 2021. Of course, it is not a serious market analysis, just an insight from high-level perspective of multinational consulting company, which is KPMG. First, AGVs and AMRs are a really big thing. I had a pleasure to work for a startup that entered market 3 years ago. Now my colleagues tell me that they have far more leads that they can deliver and having 3 times more competitors than just 3 years ago. Nonetheless, one small AGV costs as much as compact or even middle-class car these days, but well, it seems it's simple pays off. So this market is really flourishing today. Second thing I want you to pay attention at is rise of service robot software. I guess due to COVID-19 impact, like healthcare-related stuff, disinfections machine, cleaning robots, temperature measurement, and so on. And the third trend I talk more later about it is speed up of agriculture applications. I have separate slide on that. Let me show it. In terms of agriculture, I believe next area of Industry 4.0 is agriculture. The revolution started later for this sector. It's progressing slower than in manufacturing, but what we see now is really speed up. Sales riser for 75 million euro of 75 million of devices sold last year, and the dynamics of the market is roughly 20% in agriculture sector. So this is really similar to this in manufacturing. However, we start from lower numbers. So yes, and there are plenty of new startups, mostly in IoT, like smart metering and actuators that allows to keep optimal parameters for crops and animals, smart greenhouses for maximizing yield and minimizing maintenance efforts and so on. And not to forget traceability solutions that allow identification of any product during its lifespan, logistic processes, storage, and this is due to raising food security requirements, governmental restrictions, and rising role of certification, whether for example, the food is ecological or something like that. So that's just quick look on agriculture and Industry 4.0 solutions on agriculture market. And what's hot in manufacturing? Robotization and supply chain automation on first stage. E-commerce flourishing due to COVID-19 and made all supply chain players act faster, cheaper, more accurate on time with less people and paperwork. So they have to adapt to market needs. IoT market is on second place, I guess. And this market is growing year by year, steadily, with huge growth in RFID and smart metering devices as they get cheaper and smarter. Well, I remember 5 years ago, a cost of basic RFID sticker was half to 0.7 euro. Now it's below 10 euro cents. So it's far more applicable even to small things that could be tracked by RFID stickers. And number 3, in terms of software, I would emphasize business intelligence and what I call manufacturing analytics. Why? Well, there are hundreds of thousands of devices in every manufacturing plant, generating gigabytes of data every single day. Once gathered in something we call a data lake, they become available for really advanced analysis, reports, investigations, and so on. For example, we have single data quality robot with machine vision that is finding bad products on a production line. It usually just gets the defective product out of the line, but it could also record precisely date and time of all defective occurrences and find out which worker was on the shift, which supplier parts were put into the product, check whether the number of defects is related to time span of machine work, and so on. So this is far better, far higher advanced data analysis than before. Well, that's mostly everything I could share within those 20 minutes. So I spoke too much, I guess. And at the end, I'd like to recommend you downloading our global manufacturing report. It could be found in our expo section on this webinar website, and of course, it's free to download. We asked over 300 manufacturing CEOs for the insights. And well, maybe I will share with you those most interesting. And what's funny, all those are related tightly to Industry 4.0. I don't want to read those sentences, but I see a really strong commitment of CEOs that they are really aware of needs of speeding up Industry 4.0 investments. They just want to keep it reasonable in terms of investment return on investments, and well, it must pay off, of course. And they show that data is really important in order to survive on the market, to grow, to be competitive. They tell also that data scientists will be most needed person, most needed worker on the market in the nearest future. They claim that they don't have supply chain visibility, and if you want to understand what is your supply chain, if you want to track it, you need traceability solutions. You need to stick every product, every supply with any code that could identify where your good on the market is and where it came from. Sorry. And last but not least is cybersecurity. Our team of cybersecurity, as it started to check industry appliances, industry networks, and so on, they realized that there is really big threat on those companies, because they are not used to, and they are not used to secure those networks, because they thought that it's separated, it's closed within this manufacturing plant. So that's why they slept calmly, but they couldn't right now, and they are aware of that threat. So thank you. Maybe you have some questions to me.
Mr. Watka, thank you very much for your, you said brief, but it was very rich presentation with this overview of the and agriculture industries in Poland and Brazil. I'm sure that the presentation that it's available on the exposition tab will be downloaded by our audience. I would like to remember all the participants that chat is available, and you can send questions to our present participants. And also don't forget our virtual cocktail in the end of the presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Watka.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are back. We just saw the presentation, the rich presentation of KPMG specialist, Mr. Watka. As I told you, I would like to remind you that you can use our chat to talk to our speakers and other participants here on the platform. So please start connecting. And now we're going to listen to a major Polish enterprise talk about its experiences and, most important, Internet of Things, robotics, and 5G. You will hear from the Boreshev Group, one of the largest Polish industrial groups operating in the automotive, metals, and chemical industries. I am very pleased to give the floor to Research and Development Director, Maflow and BAP Group, Mr. Adam Shafron.
Good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you on this webinar when we will speak something more about our experience with the parts, with the manufacturing of the goods, and the other items connected with the Industry 4.0. So first, few words about the company itself and the mother company. The Boreshev Group is one of the largest Polish business units, which is considering production of metals, automotive, and the chemical products within Poland. Me, as a part of the automotive, I will share with you my experience in the area of the automotive, where, as my predecessor stated, we are having a lot of items to be considered as valid, mainly the information and the time of the information when it's required to our main players of the boards and main players of the manufacturing to deliver right goods in right time, in right direction. The Boreshev Groups have got more than 10,000 people in 12 countries on 4 continents. What is also worth to say, we are presented in Brazil, in the Curitiba, in Paraná state, and about this I will state you a little bit later. We are developing and we are producing air conditioning lines in Maflow, as well as the injection mold parts to be assembled into the automotive industry. Going to the presentation of the operation of the fluid transfer system, so the main part of the Maflow, we are having the company starting in China, India. We are having 4 plants in Poland. We are having our plant in Italy, France, Spain, and what I've told a little bit earlier, we are having also our plant in Paraná state in Curitiba in Brazil. Concerning the BEP group, so the injection molding, we are having our plants mainly located in Germany, Russia, Poland, and Czech Republic. And with such number of the operational units, we have been maybe not forced, but we came into conclusion that we need to have, let's say, the central system of the development and the central system of the connecting the plants in real time in order to get the right information at the right time. Going further, we are supplying majority of the European and worldwide cars with the AC lines as well as with the plastic injection parts. As my predecessor stated, we are purchasing our goods in the east of the world, and then we are transferring them to Europe and to the Mexico, and that give us necessity of being, let's say, company which is competitive on the market. It's worth to say that the BraSilesia group is one of the biggest manufacturer group in Poland, and BraSilesia itself is the largest Polish parts manufacturer. So in terms of the value, we are delivering the most components to the cars to our let's say customers. Going further, Maflow Groups got diversified solution in range of the air conditioning system. The parts itself are not visible up to the moment we are not having the AC systems, and over last 20 years we became from the prestige car supplier to the normal commodity. What does it mean? That means that every single car is equipped with the air conditioning application, and by this we need to reduce our costs to become on the market, to survive on the market. And by this we need to clearly control on one side our cost, but also we need to control our investments behind that. And we've been so far quite successfully in that area. Going to the next, we are having the electrification, and behind this we are having two main items which we had to be considered. Two of them had been already mentioned by the colleague from the KPMG, which are the RFID labels as well as the traceability system. We have placed on the market the new product, as is the HC lines for the R744 refrigerant, so clearly states CO2, which in some certain temperatures is going to increase the range of the electric cars by 20%. Of course, not in such countries like Brazil, but in the countries where we've got, let's say, the temperature in the winter below zero, we can, or the OEMs can increase the level of the range of the electric cars by 20%. I do not need to explain you how that is mandatory in the current times when the range of the electric car is so important. But of course, by this is needed to have the traceability of the products, of the parts, of the components which are delivered from the different suppliers. And those components which are producing, they are normally built out of the 10, 12, sometimes 15 different components. So to know exactly the batch of the production, supplier, date of the manufacturing it's mandatory for us. But I will explain this a little bit more later. Going into the second item, the RFID labels. In order to reduce the bureaucracy, let's put it like this, the bureaucracy of the goods going to the warehouse of our customers, we have been placing the RFID labels on our products. In that way, in the automatic mode, you know what is important and when the goods arrived to your warehouse, and that you are having your production safe in terms of assembly. And for the products which we are producing in our plant in Toruń, we have been implementing the traceability as well as RFID system also in our production flow to know when it's manufactured. And then we know what needs to be produced next. Going further to the BAP group, which is also connected with the Maflow, we are having the production of the various components for the interior of the cars as well as of the exteriors. So then you could see which are the parts are manufactured by our group. We are speaking about the door handles, we are speaking about the engine covers and locking system, we are speaking about small part which we are touching every day when we are driving a car, as well as large components as a car wheel covers, like engine covers and other stuff which we are producing in our group. In order to be very competitive on the market, we have decided that we will be having technical centers and the development centers located quite in the narrow space in Europe. We are a European-based company, Polish-based company, so we are having our development locations mainly located into the Europe. And then whenever we are having, let's say, the new project coming from our customers, we are putting them into the production, into our plants. What is important and what is necessary by this? In the automotive industry, you are having the special procedure called APQP for the launching of the parts. So each vehicle which is sold today or which will begin to sold very soon has to pass some exams which as a homologation are necessary to be passed by the car manufacturer as well as the tier ones as Maflow. So in order to be competitive, we have decided that the product development, process development, the validation of the product and technology will be done on the group level in our development centers, and then launch of the production launch of the products will be done in our plants located all over the world. That's required from us quite big infrastructure for having the data available everywhere where they are needed. Yes? So the product specification, process specification, and all of the quality aspects behind that. Going further, and as a consequence of that, the company is using Industry 4.0 technology in the areas of development of products, I mean the engineering, manufacturing, and life cycle management in order to facilitate improvements in the internal processes. As a manufacturing, I do not speak much about the robotization because for me that's obvious. However, there are other areas where the Industry 4.0 pillars are necessary and are mandatory for the companies to grow and to be competitive. Going further, as I've already told, the effective implementation of the Industry 4.0 aspect is the cooperation between the systems which are already installed into the company. So we are having the very big numbers of the different softwares, different technologies used. But in order to do not be lost, we need to have, let's say, the IT connected with the OT items. So we need to connect all of the layers together, the IT technology with the production processes and with the people. Otherwise, we will stuck with the papers and we will stuck with the data being written somewhere, but we will not have the clear idea or we will have the results, but after the time it's needed. So we have decided for having some special software also in that. The point is ERP system. We are using the ERP system to connect our finance, our sales, our production, and our warehousing, and then we are communicating via EDI with our suppliers and with our customers. So in simple words, the customer is sending to us a request for the products which are mandatory for them to be installed into the car on the daily basis. And we need to see what we are having already in our warehouse, what needs to be processed, and which components are missing. The EDI connections with our customers due to the COVID, due to the famous chip shortages, are changing every day because car manufacturers, they are aligning their production every day for this what they will receive. So we need to be able and be agile to change our production and our orders to our suppliers. And as you could see, or I have spoken already, we are having our suppliers located, for example, in China, India, and other European countries, and we need to deliver the goods right in time for the manufacturing line because the customer is waiting for their car. Then the system integration. We have been doing the products, the design of our products into let's say quite old manner into the past. But we have decided that we will introduce our product data management in order to be able to reach the target as is the customer's demand. The cars were designed into the past within a period of 20 years. We could here imagine the production or the development of famous Mercedes W123, which was sold over 20 years. Right now, this situation is not anymore present into the automotive industry. Every car is going to the market every 3 years. The new model is present on the market, as well as we are having the facelift every 1.5 to 2 years. So that means that the engineering job, that product development job, is highly dependent from the time to the market, as well as we need to optimize our job. That means that internally we have to pass some gates which allowed us to be able to follow the customer demands, changes, and stuff like that. Going further with the product engineering and data exchange, we are having, let's say, the data transfer between our customers with their technical centers. We are using our own software. We are using the rapid prototyping based on the newest printing technology or additive technology, and then we are sharing within the internal database, internal intranet, the data with our production plans. By this, we are reducing the time to the market. Of course, such like this item cannot be done without the certain cybersecurity of our data and of our, let's say, of our systems. And our company is audited and certified towards the ISO 27000 certification. So the data which we are having in our plants, in our technical centers, are fully protected against any threats. Why is so important? Companies are having a lot of data right now, and we need to identify the risk. We need to identify the threats, defining the owners of the risk, and by determining the impact of the threats, we need to be able to make the actions to prevent any potential threats or risk coming from the outside as well as from the inside of our organization. Then, coming back to the simulations, more and more time to the market is depending of the simulation. Just showing you an example that in the past days, for having the validation of some of the parts, we have been let's say asked to prepare the hard work, so to make our parts, then put them to the devices which check their reliability, and then after that we were showing the results to the customers. That's not like this anymore. The customer is requesting the changes on the daily basis, especially the ones who are producing the electrical vehicle, and they want to have an answer almost immediately. What does it mean? That means that we need to have the special software which guarantee for us that the material, that the solution we have chosen, it's right at the right time. That's the one aspect. The second aspect is a process simulation, so-called the digital twin. It can be carried by various software, but in a different way. For example, we have been using the FlexSim software for doing that. And during the RFQ phase, so the phase when the customer is checking the potential of that year one, we have been presenting to him the solutions, which allows us then to get the contract. That's the one part of the moon. But the second part of the moon is that by having the digital twin, we can see the right time of the manufacturing. We can see the logistical internal transport, as well as we could determine the best way of the machine setting and the machine layout. Of course, there is the item always, how good is the simulation towards reality, and the correlation of such processes is highly dependent of the data you've gathered from the past. But I'm really a fan of having, let's say, the process simulation done previous to the hard work installed, because we are having we could see how the process is operating. We could see how the operator or the robot will gain the data, the part, and then by this we can see how the data is going to behave, and which is the time needed, which then it's shown to the customer, and by this we could become competitive. Then going to the product simulation. As I've told you already, the time to market required acceleration of the development work. And the software for the simulation has to be friendly for the user, has to be, let's say, given to the engineers, where you could in an easy manner prepare the model to be checked. And the last but not least in that area, we have to have the good library for the processes and material denomination, how they will behave over the stress. Going further, that gives us the benefit in terms to the market. Of course, I have mentioned about the product and process correlation, but that's something which we are working and when the experience is gained. Then going to the additive manufacturing, that's also the part of the Industry 4.0 where the most of the items could be done. I've got then some examples. We are using the SLA FDM technology, and the newest one in the enterprise, the MJF. So such technology, it's mainly used in our company for the rapid prototyping when we need some prototypes, and our suppliers are telling us, okay, you need to wait 2-3 weeks for that. When we could have, based on the 3D printing, on the additive manufacturing, that's the correct name, the parts being manufactured from one day to another. So that give us the benefit, and that's give us the item when we could be better than our competitors. Going further, benefit of multi-jet fusion technology, the newest item we have been installing into the parts. By having such technology in our company, we have been reducing by 50% of reduction time in production, in relation, of course, to the different type of the 3D printing. Let's say we have been also reducing the printing cost by having dedicated chamber, and by loading this, we are gaining also the cost. And also it's worth to say that the printed elements, there are, let's say, much stronger that use the one in the FDM technology. And the example which is shown on the picture at the bottom, it's showing the bracket which is installed in one of the vehicles. In order to make such prototype, you need to manufacture the mold, which takes approximately 2-3 weeks. Then you need to make the shots, and then you need to check whenever it's good or not. With the 3D printing, we are able to check out this almost from one day to another where we are with the items. Then, almost going to the end, what is also needed, but it's not yet, let's say, in fully operational system, it's the augmented reality. We do see the augmented reality as one of the vital tool for our company. Why is that? Whenever we are having, let's say, necessity of having job done overseas, for example, Brazil, Mexico, the specialists which are located in Europe could connect with the person, with the operator who is located over there, and easily support it. Then we are gaining the time of flying of the accommodation, time zone by this. But that's also connected with the speed of the internet, and introduction of the 5G technology will be beneficial to have wider utilization of the augmented reality. Last but not least, as I've told you before, the future of the augmented reality is strictly connected with the 5G technology and network and availability of the data being shared. Also, increase the battery's capacity in that area will be beneficial to use augmented reality. So, summarizing, let's say each company have to choose their own way how to go with the Industry 4.0 and how to make their own path. If you want to be certified or utilize or you want to use Industry 4.0 aspect, there is nothing like that each company will be certified toward that. Each company, let's say manager and each CEO has to choose which pillars are important for him or for the company to be able to catch the market needs. In our way, we found those one, as well as robotization. I would like to tell you that our plant in Brazil have got already almost each processes equipped with the robots. And that's not due to the fact that we are having, let's say, a very big production. That's about the process reparability, and that's connected with the process capabilities, reparability, as well as with having good parts in the market and right time. And at that time, I would like to thank you and waiting for any questions from the attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shafrom, for your impressive presentation on the of Industry 4.0 in Poland, especially in the Boreshev group, which is it's really impressive and exciting. I'm sure our participants will be interested in talking to you. So again, I remind everyone that you can talk on the chat, and I give you one tip. If you go over the name of the participants, there is you can click on it and you have the option to send a message, and you send in a private message to that person. And also don't forget about our cocktail networking party at the end of all presentations. Once again, Mr. Shafron, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a very good meeting today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. giving sequence to discussing digital transformation in the Polish manufacturing. Invite to take the floor, Director of Silesia Economic Zone, Aleksandra Zajusz-Wajda. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to present the initiative under the name of Silesia Smart Systems, the initiative that in a way answers or actually addresses the problems or actually challenges of the fourth industrial revolution and Industry 4.0 in general. The initiative under the name of Silesia Smart Systems. The Silesia Smart Systems initiative has been initiated and coordinated by Katowice Special Economic Zone. And it all started several years back when the idea of Industry 4.0 first emerged in our company. And well, never heard of before, but our president did not hesitate a moment, and he made a decision to establish a sort of hub, a center in which any company that would be willing to face the challenge, would be willing to implement the innovative technologies of Industry 4.0, any company willing to introduce the new business model and turn technology into business transformation could get help. So after some work done, we have established the Digital Innovation Hub under the name of Silesia Smart Systems, in which we decided to carry on our mission. The mission of Katowice Special Economic Zone is support the companies from our region, companies in general, in whatever challenge is there. So we decided to support the companies who want to challenge the fourth industrial revolution. We invited 8 partners. I will not enlist them all, but these are the partners mostly from our region. And we have one thing in common. We all look in the same direction, and this direction is future on one hand, and support for the companies from our region on the other hand. We came up with the idea of this platform of cooperation in which all of us declared certain catalog of within 3 main areas of specialization, which are in the main focus of Silesia Smart Systems. And these include automation and robotics with elements of artificial intelligence and machine learning, cybersecurity, and additive manufacturing, along with the materials, with new materials for 3D printing. On top of that, we are also assisted by 30 integrators and suppliers of innovative solutions and industrial technologies of the companies that are affiliated in our cluster, because Katowice Special Economic Zone also coordinates a cluster, Silesia Automotive and Advanced Manufacturing Cluster. And altogether, all these experiences brought together, we developed a tool that uses the synergy of our knowledge, experience, our and our partners, obviously, technical infrastructure, laboratories, which all help us provide support to the companies that, as I mentioned before, that want to turn technology into business transformation, that want to hop on this train of change and face the digital transformation. Because as we believe this is all about digital transformation, And we are aware of the fact that this is a tough journey. As the previous speakers mentioned, this is a very complex task. I think it was a gentleman from KPMG who said there is no one company that can introduce everything in one package, okay? Industry 4.0 is a huge thing. It has a lot of items inside. So it is not a solution in one box. And we are aware of the fact that it is not easy, that this is a very complex process. We are aware of the fact that it's not the natural environment of the companies, okay? Because innovative technologies is something new, as the name says. So it really requires effort. It requires certain risk. We are aware of the fact that it is time consuming, that it is effort consuming, it requires resources, not to mention finance. But at the same time, we've been dealing with the subject for several years now, and we are absolutely sure that digital transformation has a great potential, has a potential to level the playing field for all the companies. Okay, it provides certain tools and enables strategies that give SMEs from, well, actually all SMEs, a fighting chance to compete at the same level as major enterprises and as companies who already are innovative. So this is a very complex shift from the traditional enterprise to the company of the future, okay, to this smart factory. And we would like to help in this process. We know that there is a lot of companies who provide very intelligent solutions. Some of them are affiliated in our cluster, but a lot of them they are on the market. They are ready to provide their technologies and solutions, but we are here to start this change. Okay, we know that a lot of interesting thing happens when technologies run into people, okay, or people run into technologies. And we would like to help our companies to take advantage of these opportunities in a way. We want to start this change together. And by the start, we mean we want to help to plan this journey in a very deliberate way, because as I said, this is a very complex process which needs to be thoroughly planned. And this is something that we do. We help companies, we help organizations write this roadmap, which leads to this sort of smart factory or smart enterprise. Our aim is to support those who already have made this decision, but also for those who are still hesitating, because we know that this train is rolling. But we are also aware that there is still time to hop on this train, and even though things are very much in flux and this train is running, there is still a chance for the companies to hop on it and start this change. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm running out of time, so I would like to add that I strongly urge you to visit our website, and it would be really fantastic if you get in touch with us, if you just try to find out what we do, try to plan this journey with us. I would like to invite you to visit our website and contact me personally. I would be really glad to give you more details about our service. And well, let's change our business together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Alexandra, thank you very much for presenting to us Silesia Smart Systems and offering help to companies who decide to take this, as you said, challenging but very fruitful path of digitalization. Now we're going to go to a short break. But I remind you that when we come back, we're going to hear about funding opportunities, which is crucial for our goals here. And also, we're going to listen to Brazilian and Polish startups talk about their businesses, experiences, and demands. So take a break, and we'll wait for you here in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. From the last presentations on the first part of our webinar, it was pretty clear the huge potential for cooperation between Polish and Brazilian firms in a wide range of areas in Industry 4.0. By now, some of you in our audience might be asking themselves, and what about funding opportunities, both in Brazil and Poland, for innovative SMEs and startups? No more need to wonder. That's exactly the topic of our next speakers. So from the Brazilian side, let's listen to the Executive Director of iCorps Brazil, Mr. Stefan Bogdan Salej. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, I will kindly ask Secretary Nelson to send our best regard to Ambassador Adil, very good friend of my wife, Ambassador Deborah, and myself as well. Second, my congratulations to the University of Viçosa for this very, very innovative approach for international cooperation, and as well to all the Polish participants. Story or history with Katowicka go back when I was in elementary school in Slovenia in 50s, when father of one of my classmates come to Katowice to learn how to improve the industry in Slovenia. And when he come back, he has a lecture, let's say, in my school and told us a lot about how important and how advanced is Katowice at that time. So, and last weekend, when we had in Katowice the European Championship on volleyball, and Slovenia won the second place, not beating Italy. So I have, besides the story, reading a very young guy as Sienkiewicz and other Polish authors. So I have all the time the Poland was also present in me. And one of the things that I want to emphasize very much and kindly ask the people, the guys from the University of Viçosa or tecnoPARQ, enjoy better the knowledge that you have in Minas Gerais of the relationship with Poland. My first employer in Brazil, when I came in Brazil in the 60s, was Mr. Bolesław Biskupski, a distinguished Polish businessman whose company still exists nowadays in the fourth generation. And Magnesita, which is a well-known Minas company, has the most important business in Poland. And there is a lot of Polish immigrants in Minas Gerais in very important positions in academy, in business and medicine, and all around, who could help you to understand better how important and how developed is Poland. I think this bridging the gap, the cultural gap, is tremendously important to understand. I'm very happy as well that we have here among our representation the gentleman from the Suzano, which is the Stinky company. I had the pleasure to meet Mr. Max Fersper and Boris Tobacco, one of the founder owner and another director of the company. This is one of the most of not only Brazilian but the world companies. So I think that we can learn of them and what they can do. The second point, I think it's very important, is Brazil and Mercosur undersigned basic agreement between European Union and Mercosur. And this agreement is now a lot of political discussion if will be implemented or not will be implemented. And one of the guys who is tremendously against these agreements is the European Commissioner for Agriculture, by the way, the Polish guy. And I think that this example here, what you are doing, what we are doing is exactly stop to talk politics and do the business. So this is example how instead to a lot of diplomatic discussion, a lot of political discussion, how we can cooperate with the best efforts and the best knowledge from each side. So this is important, and I think that Poland is one of the most distinguished and most prospective partners for Brazil, especially in agriculture. Well, one point which is about the funding. We have in Brazil hundreds of opportunity for funding. The problem is not the funding. The problem is how to put the startup and the business to make profits and to be successful. That we have a lot of government, federal government, we have the state government, even some municipalities giving the money. There's a private funding and funds, a lot of private funds. What is our experience? And we at iCourts, we have the accelerator for over 500 startups. It's not difficult to make a startup. To start up is easy. It's very difficult to scale up startup and transform it, not with just the money which come from the funds, but to be a business, to be or by other business involved all together. So one rule is have to be, you cannot establish a startup to be locally oriented. I'm very happy with the presentation for the Polish side, which show us high quality of Polish industrial and business development. And you have to establish the startup which is globally oriented, which enjoy the huge Brazilian market, but could be present in all around the world. So the market in Brazil, and I will focus much more in this, in which stage we are in Brazilian development on Industry 4.0 or for IoT and so on. We are in very, very initial stage. There are a lot of talking from the government, a lot of programs, but come to the industry, come to the farmers and make the business run and to be efficient and competitive. This is a big bridge to be overcome. And so this is a lot of opportunity. Regarding especially not the industry, but I will focus a little bit more in farming. The Brazilian farming industry and farmers have to understand at once they will be not competitive only with the cheap land, with St. Peter help, which is a climate change a lot of thought, but they have to be competitive, introducing more update technology in their farming. This is fundamental point. Not the discussion about the politics, not the discussion about the government help, but discussion about how to be competitive on what we call in industry, on the factory floor, or what we can call in the farming on the field. This is the movement which is going on. It's interesting how it's going on. They are a very good example of this in Brazil, but it's too slow anyway. It's too slow because the people understand that the market conditions are so good, they don't need to improve the competitiveness. This is an illusion. This will not work on the midterm perspective, and this can change. And the University of Viçosa, which is one of the best universities in this field, has a very important role to play, even and especially with such organization and such cooperation which we are talking today. Specifically in field of 5G, I'm also the president of Brazilian cluster 5G industry, that the big opportunity are not the public networks in 5G. The big opportunity are so-called the private networks. And we have very good example with the two big farm complex. One is San Martinho in São Paulo, another one is Jales Machado in Goiás, which already established their private networks and show that they can establish, they don't wait for the government and do the business. So this is something that have to be, this cooperation between the Polish university, Polish business, and Brazilian business and Brazilian university could be very, very successful. By the way, the state of Minas Gerais is the only state in Brazil now where we, with the lieutenant government Paulo Brandt, we are organizing the special group, a special program introducing the 5G connectivity in the state of Minas Gerais. Doesn't mean just the connectivity, but this means how all the system will work in the future. I think that this is, especially in 5G, we consider that Brazil, and with such kind of cooperation with Polish industry and academia, could be the world leader in 5G connectivity and in farm, in agribusiness. This is very important field, and I think that the both country can work, and especially the special economic zone from Katowicach can work together with Viçosa and other players in this field. The another thing is regarding the industry. That was one of the speakers mentioned very much small and medium-sized industry. The big industry in Brazil is basically some of them, not of all, but basically, especially for instance, car industry is run by the foreign company. So the decision if the Mercedes plant in Brazil will be 4.0, it's done in Stuttgart. It's not done in Brazil at all. But the medium-sized business in Brazil, and then you have the Brazilian development agency like INDI, which has a long tradition to foster the economic and industrial development in the state of Minas Gerais, have to lead the next stage and next stage of development of Brazilian, of Minas Gerais specifically, industry. And one thing is, in my experience in this field is, you cannot do this alone. You are not clever enough, you have not resources enough. Development of the 4-point industry, development of artificial intelligence requires resources, human resources, as well the material resources. So, and I think that when I study how you prepare this meeting, you forget to talk one thing which is tremendously important. I come back on my initial statement. Poland is important member of the European Union, and you have to enjoy this partnership. Poland is not just a member of European Union. Poland is important member of European Union, and so we can put all the resources which European Union with digital programs and so on offers in this program, not to try to work alone, and link the university as well the startup, as well the business, and so on. So what is another point with our experience with the startup in Brazil is we have a lot of the people who want begin startup, who is very good with good ideas. I mentioned not sometimes world-class products or world-class ideas, but one of the problems is that I call your attention is that to be startup has to be market oriented, has the value proposition, and another thing is teamwork. That startup is not only one researcher, it's not one or two or group of researchers. This is a teamwork, you know, you have the guy, the marketing, accounting, finance, and so on and so on. And in Brazilian startup, we sometimes feel with our experience with over 500 startups with the support that the people think that if I have a good idea, it's enough. No, you have to put good idea on the market. And you have good finance and marketing and so on. And this is, I think, very, very, very important thing in the future. So I'm very sure that this perspective will be successful. I wish to all partners a lot of success. I want to congratulate the Polish partners. I'm really very happy with the high level of not the presentation, what Mr. Adams showed. It's not the presentation. The presentation is, his presentation means hard work of his team in very successful business and very competitive business. So this is the benchmark, let's say, what you are doing. And this success, you know, it's easy to make the webinars, but it's hard to make work done. So what's the next? When we will meet and say, this is results, this is going on. So thank you very much to everybody, and dziękuję.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saleh, for the insightful overview of the technological stage of Brazilian agriculture as well manufacturing industries, and also for highlighting the main role, the important role Poland plays in the EU, just reminding us of that and of all the potential it has to offer for cooperation with Brazilian companies. And as you said, this is our main goal here, to focus on business, to focus on going out to the market-oriented perspective. Very much. Hello, everyone. Now from the Polish side, regarding fund opportunities, let's listen to the head of Capital Funds Department from the National Research and Development Center, Hania Strykowska, and in the sequence to the Chief Specialist in Industrial Competitiveness, Małgorzata Szałbucha. Please, I give you the floor.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Boa tarde, senhoras and senores. Good afternoon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I did it well. Dzień dobry, witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie. Thank you very much for this invitation and opportunity to present ourselves and what we do. Thank you for the presentation. My name is Hanna Strykowska. I am a head of Capital Funds Department in the National Center for Research and Development. And I have a pleasure to co-present what we do with my colleague, Ms. Małgorzata Szałbucha. Let's go to the presentation. What is it, what we do, and who we are? In general, the National Center for Research and Development, we call it NCBR, is an executive agency to the implementation of programs financed from mostly European financial instruments. One of the programs launched by the center is public funding for research and development project in cooperation with VC funds, basically looking for projects who are qualified to be new technology startups. And the name of this program is Bridge Alpha program. One of the participants of this webinar and of this program is Invento Fund, who is joining this event. Hello. And how it looks in details. In Bridge Alpha funding, financial support for research and development project can be obtained through investment vehicles launched to search for and support the best research and development projects at a very early stage of development with commercialization potential. As a part of two competitions launched in 2016 and 2017, the center selected, as of today, its 55 investment vehicles, so-called alphas. These alphas are venture capital funds. They are Bridge Alpha funds with the range of budget for investment to total. It's from 12 up to 50 million of Polish złotych, which is approximately 3 up to 11 million of euro. Their network creates an ecosystem that supports the incubation of technology companies. With the help of the vehicles of the investment funds, ideas with the high commercialization potential are selected. They will enter the market by ensuring that they will go through the proof of principle and proof of concept phase. And those are financial, they have financial support from the center together with the alphas. As of today, we have 55 active VC funds, and altogether they have, I checked yesterday, 639 companies in their portfolio. So the value of the public aid for those spin-offs, those startups, it's 575.8 million of Polish złotych, and the total value of the program is estimated for 1,420 million of Polish złotych. So as you can see, we have much more to spend in the future for the next 2 years. How it looks in details, how the state aid is provided. The state aid is provided for both entities, and funds and spin-offs, meaning startups, based on some legal provisions which are common for European Union country members who also participate in similar programs. On the slide, you can see the legal basis. And what are actually conditions to obtain state aid and financial support for a startup? So the conditions that the project has to meet to obtain the grant in the Bridge Alpha program as are follows. First of all, the startup has to be qualified as a micro or small enterprise. It cannot be unlisted. It cannot be listed, so it must be unlisted small enterprise, which have not yet distributed profits. They have to live up to 5 years following their registration, cannot be older, and have not been formed through a merger. And those criteria, they have to be met as of the day when the state aid is granted. The selected startups are co-financed by investment vehicles, as I said, VC funds, which we called alphas. Oh, now we are on the right side, sorry. So as of today, the maximum state aid is up to 2,100 euro. Before, the ticket for investment was much higher, but meantime, during the program was launched, the legal provision they have changed. So as of today, the limit is up to 200,000 euro. This is actually European legal provisions that established legal limits for the state aid in this program. And it is 80% of the total financing for startup. The remain 20% is provided by private funds from VC fund. Grant from the center is transferred after signing the investment agreement by both parties, the fund and the startup. Grant from the center, from the National Center for Research and Development, is transferred after the signing the agreement, or also in addition to financial resources. The investment vehicle, which is the Alpha Fund, also provides business support, financial, some legal and conceptual issues which they have to be discussed and established before the investment. Okay, in short, what is the outline of the investment process? So how the investment process goes. Each fund's investment is preceded by the following steps. First, the term sheet must be prepared. The conditions are set by both parties, fund and the startup, in the term sheet. Then the decision is taken by the body which is called the investment committee. The investment committee is composed of the fund's representative, very often the investor representative, the science as an expert of the center. The next step is setting up the legal entity, which is startup itself. Sometimes it is already existed company, sometimes it is just an idea. So this is the crucial moment, and the one of the requirements is the state it goes to the NewCo or already existed companies. The following step is signing the investment agreement and assigning a grant agreement by a fund. Also, this is actually three parties agreement, but the fund, VC fund, based on the power of attorney, actually acts on behalf of the National Center. There are some formal issues which has to be required and verified along with the investment decision. Such a project has to contain Polish nexus, so-called. The phase of research and development project is also analyzed, because we support projects which are on phase POP, which is proof of principle, or POC, proof of concept. They also has to be checked the field of the investment. So we have to make identification of the research and whether it complies with the fund's investment mandate and strategy. And there are also verified some costs related to the project and checked whether it is in accordance with some other requirements which are set up in the agreement and our other regulations. The startups, actually, they have 5 years horizon to fulfill the whole way of the investment and to examine and research and develop the project at the end of the exit. After approximately 5 years, we expect the exit, which is regular way of exit, which is IPO or further rounds, follow-ons, or redemption of shares from liquid assets of the portfolio of the company. And some statistics. As I mentioned before, as of today, we have 55 VC funds. Initially, I think we have about 90 agreements, 90 VC funds, but during the first 2 years, some of them they resign, or the center resign of cooperation with them. So as of today, we have 55 active funds, and mostly the investment fields of their investments are ICT, medical engineering, multifunctional materials, automatization and robotics, and others. So they are the fields. That was a short story of the long story. Thank you very much for the intention. Although the program is closed for the investment funds, however, investment funds are still active to research new opportunities and new startups. So this is also an opportunity for not only Polish, but also from other ideas from abroad to be supported in this program. Thank you very much. Now my colleague, Małgorzata Szołucha.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm working also in National Center for Research and Development, but I'm working in Department of National Contact Point. I have a pleasure to present you the funding opportunities in the field of AI, robotics and ICT from European program, Horizon Europe program. So, as I mentioned, I'm working for National Contact Point. Such structures are established in all member states, but not only. They are also established in associated countries and which are recognized by the European Commission in order to help participations access to the European programs. So we are, as the National Contact Point, we are in the structures in the National Center for Research and Development. We are since November 2020, and we are the team of 40 experts cooperating with European Commission and other European institutions. We are also cooperating with Polish governmental partners, but also with Polish research organizations. What we can offer you? We spread the information about the Horizon Europe program, about rules of participation in the program. We organize seminars, workshops and trainings, conferences, info days and brokerage events where you can find potential partners for research and development cooperation. We can also support you by funding appropriate partners for your research cooperation. So we conduct also consultations on applications to be submitted to the European Commission. What is Horizon Europe program? Horizon Europe program is a key funding program for research and innovation for years 2021-2027. This is not the first program. The European Commission have opened such programs for many years. The first framework program was launched by the European Commission in 1984. The Horizon Europe program is already the 9th framework program for funding the research and development in key strategic areas. So, who can participate in the program? So the program is open for different organizations, such as the research centers, universities, industry, SMEs, public administration associations, but also international organizations. When we look at the structure of the program, it can be seen that the European Commission finances research in many areas. We have here the environment, we have here the energy, the transport, mobility, health, but we have also culture, creativity, and security, and bioeconomy. But within the areas, we have also the cluster 4 dedicated for digital, industry and space areas. So, however, and in this cluster, you can find most appropriate calls to finance the research and development for AI, robotics, and ICT, general ICT. You have here calls for also for solutions for industry 4.0 for such solutions. However, I have to add that if you look for possibilities to finance also AI solutions in other areas, you can find the possibilities also in other clusters, like mentioned earlier, in health cluster, in culture, creativity. It depends on what do you want to do. So, cluster 4, digital, industry and space in Horizon Europe, is completed by 6 destinations. So we have here the first destination is for climate neutral, circular and digital production. Destination 2, increased autonomy in key strategic value chains for resilience industry. Destination 3 is dedicated for world-leading data and computing technologies. Destination 4 for digital and emerging technologies. Destination 5 for space area, for space solutions. And destination 6 for AI, robotics, and also you can find here technology like virtual reality, such area. But it is I haven't time to present all possibilities, but most of them are located here in cluster 4, digital, industry and space. So there are currently open calls for 2021 in these destinations, but some calls have been already closed, and some will be closed in few weeks. So there are still open calls for the year 2022, and in the next weeks we will start to work on the preparation for next for the documents for next years. Now let me tell you a few words about the Brazil's research collaboration with the European Union. So Brazil and the European Union share a long-standing relationship based on strong cultural and historical ties. So the Brazil was one of the first countries to establish diplomatic relationships with the European Union. So it is a long story. But on the basis of agreements with the European Commissions, it is possible to open and on the basis of administrative agreement with the European Commission and your governmental Brazilians governmental organizations, it is possible to open some dedicated calls where it is possible to finance also Brazilian partners. So, but general rules is that most of the projects within the Horizon Europe program are carried out by in international consortia. It is very important, international consortia. So the program is open for international participations, such third countries like Brazil, with good capacity in science and technology and innovation. But it is not automatically the rule that the organizations from Brasilia can participate and can receive funding for your participation. So, but they were in the previous framework programs, there were calls dedicated for such cooperation, and probably in this program it will be also a continuation, but as I know, the signature of the new agreement is under negotiation. So you have to check if you will be if the financial if your participation could be financed from the program. So at the moment, the Brazilian researchers, enterprises, and institutions can team up with European partners. However, their participations have to be determined themselves, the sources of funding and resources for their part of the project. You have to check by your governmental institutions. So let me show you some real examples of this cooperation in the scientific field. So it is possible to participate. You have a great participation in Maria Skłodowska-Curie actions. There are also actions for doctoral education and postdoctoral trainings. You have good results also in health area, in environment and climate actions. You have good results also in science with and for society, but also in the interesting area like leadership in enabling and industrial technologies in ICT. This is important. So the statistics show that it is this cooperation is live. So and if you see at the numbers of projects, so organizations from Brazil participated in total in 160 projects. Organizations also participated in total in 160 projects. So this is a really huge number of cooperation within the framework programs. And we have also Polish-Brazilian cooperation within the previous framework program, Horizon 2020. So you can see that we had together that your organizations participated in actions for doctoral and postdoctoral trainings within the Maria Skłodowska-Curie actions, but the good results also for this bilateral, not bilateral, but where Polish and Brazilian organizations were included in consortia and worked together. Also it was also in area like environment, climate actions, and even leadership in enabling and industrial technologies, and also in research infrastructures. So we have implemented or are still implementing, but not all projects are already closed. So we have implemented together 27 projects. As I already mentioned, I work in the department of the national contact point, so it is maybe for you also important to know that you in Brazil have also the national contact point where you can get the information about the possibilities to participate in Horizon Europe program. So it is all from my side. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, please you can send me an email. I will be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Ms. Strakowska Imashaucha. It was very interesting to listening to you showcasing to us the different programs available for source of funding for startups, and also the steps that applicants have to go through. And very importantly, to highlight that NCBR can also help Brazilian entities to find Polish partners, Polish research partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. And now we are back with, I believe, one of the most awaited moments, which is our demo day section, where Brazilian and Polish startups will present their solutions. And once again, I remind all of you that after these presentations, we're gonna have a virtual cocktail networking party where you can talk to those companies, ask questions, and address any queries you might have. So to kickstart our demo day, let's go with the Brazilian startup Kriltech. And for that, I give the floor to its CEO and founder, Mr. Diego Stone. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's a great honor to be here to talk a little bit about Kriltech, about how our technology can be very fruitful for this relationship between Brazil and Poland, specifically when we talk about agriculture. I have a small presentation for you all. Just wanted to start as also talking to my Polish colleagues. Dzień dobry. Thank you for being here. And I hope that we can develop some kind of partnership and some kind of start some talks about how we can bring this technology to the Polish agriculture. So the world, it needs to produce more and more food, but how has it been done so far? Well, with outdated technologies that harm not only the environment, but also human health. But what if we could produce more with higher nutritional quality and in an eco-friendly way? Well, now we can. With the technology from Kriltech Arbolin, it's possible to bring these new technologies to the market, to bring these new increases in productivity to our crops. And what is Arbolin? It's our bio-nanotechnology that increases not only productivity in crops, but also increases stress resistance in plants, for example, against droughts. It is an organic nanoparticle that measures about 3 nanometers wide, acting as a biofertilizer and nutrient carrier for plants, completely atoxic and biocompatible, as well as biodegradable, with a lifetime of around 15 days inside plants before it is fully digested via the plant's metabolism. And one of the main things that we see with this technology is that because of its green aspect, and how it works inside the plant, it has a very high potential, not only in Brazilian agriculture, but also in European agriculture, and more specifically in Poland. These are some of the results in the field that we have so far with our technology. Amazing double-digit productivity increases, as well as quality increases in more than 23 different crops treated. I can give you an example, for instance, for crops that are important in Polish agriculture, such as wheat. We're able to increase the average productivity by 13%. We were also able to increase productivity in potatoes by extra 25%. And are some of the results in the field results. I'm going to show you some pictures. For example, in tomato, we were able to increase the productivity in field tests with our clients by 33 average tons per hectare in an area that's already has an average, a control area that has a productivity average way above the national average of 80 tons per hectare. We were able to increase it from 155 to 187. Potatoes, we also have some works under development with clients of ours in the Midwest of Brazil. Basically, what we've seen so far are increases in productivity by 25% and also increases in quality. That is, the potatoes are larger, the potatoes are more uniform in size and in quality. Garlic, we've had also amazing results with the technology. One of these major client of ours in the state of the capital state of Brazil, he was able to achieve his record production for his area that he's been cultivating for the last 20 years. We also have some amazing results regarding stress control, specifically water stress. That is, we are able to achieve really good results in mitigating the stress caused by droughts and dry spells and all of these shortages of rain and water into crops and other plantations. So, for example, this is a client of ours in the state of Goiás here. This is his control area and his test area. We were able to basically save his crop from a really long dry spell that happened there of 65 days with only 3.5 millimeters of rain during that time. And he was able to harvest around 95 bags per hectare. And in comparison to his neighbors in his control area, that was amazing because the whole area that was used for control and most of the neighbors nearby didn't harvest anything at all because of the losses due to the dry spell. We also have some really good results in crops more related to human nourishment, human feed. And what we're talking here, for example, is lettuce, greeneries as a whole. We've been able to see these great results in reducing the harvest time by 30 to 50%, not only in soil conditions, but also in hydroponics. And the same thing happened, for example, in watermelon, as an example for fruits. We were able to increase, due to the increase of size of the fruits and weight of the fruits, we were able to increase the farmer's revenue by 90%. And this is just a slide to show you a little bit of the cost-benefit relationship, the cost of using your technology and the benefit that the farmers accrue. And these are really good results. Most of them are over 10 to 1. Some are even 40 to 1, 50 to 1. And we don't, in this calculation, we don't take into account the quality increase, just the productivity increase. So these actually, the benefits are much larger than what this slide shows. And this technology emerged from a partnership between Creeltech, the University of BraSilesia, and Embrapa. We've been developing it for the last 7 years, and we were able to patent it not only in Brazil but worldwide. And right now, as of March this year, we got the registry from the Ministry of Agriculture here, and we started commercializing it. And the market here in Brazil is a huge market. It actually accounts for about 5% of the world's agriculture in a single country. In numbers, we're inserted in a market that's worth around 10 billion reais, something like $2 billion. That has an ever-growing trend due to biological and eco-friendly products such as Arbolin. And so far, we have accrued over 210 clients in less than 5 months, 6 months since we got our registry from the ministry, in over 30,000 hectares of treated area. And just a quick curious fact, 50% of our revenue comes from vegetables and fruits, and the rest from major staple crops such as soybean and maize. Besides that, we've been able to develop partnerships with corporations such as Shell and the recovery of 5,000 hectares of the forested area to generate carbon credits and also to aid the local population with the social environmental action into increasing their economical participation in, for example, vegetable extraction, fruit extraction from the native forest. So this is just a sum up of how we started. We started our go-to-market strategy through direct sales to our contact network for these last 6 months. Right now, we're shifting to a more e-commerce and marketplace focus, using, for example, Broto, which is a marketplace developed by the Bank of Brazil. And we have product lines not only for large farmers, that is for soybean, wheat, maize, and all the cotton and all these major crops, but also for crops that are usually grown by small farmers, such as tomato, lettuce, potato, and all these other that are very important for human feed. And one of the major aspects that I want to bring to your attention is that the core competency of Creeltech is our R&D. Right now, we have over 12 new active agents, that is other nanoparticles besides Arbalin, that are already under development and in field trials. We already have been featured in the news here in Brazil quite a lot. We were featured in Globo Rural, one of the major TV programs for agriculture in the country. Also, we were a cover story for Valor Econômico, the Brazilian Financial Times, Estadão, also a major newspaper here in Brazil. And we were selected by KPMG to represent Brazil this year in November at the Web Summit as the Tech Innovator Brazil, so that we can compete and show our technology to the world as speakers in this huge event that's going to take place in 2 months. We've also been selected by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Brazil to represent the country in GITEX Future Stars, a huge innovation fair that's going to happen in Dubai in less than a month, and on the 15th and the 16th of October, as a matter of fact. And we were very honored to be representing Brazil in this competition. And when we talk about agriculture, the future needs to go through it, because by 2015, we will have almost 10 billion people as a whole in the world population. So we need to drastically increase food production. But at the same time, we have the negative effects of climate change hindering this increase of productivity. So we need technologies that not only increase the offer of food, but also mitigate these negative effects, such as stated by the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN 2050. Therefore, we expect a huge growth in our revenue. So far, we've had $250,000 in 6 months of operations as revenue. We expect by the end of this year, by December, to achieve a $2 million mark, and therefore to expand our capability not only nationally but also internationally. We have opened up a pre-Series A round. We also have many interested parts involved in this investment, with a round value of up to $90 million. This is the head team that's made it all possible, that's bringing this technology to the market. Myself as our current CEO, Professor Marcelo as the creator of the technology and professor at the University of Brasilia, and Karimi, our CTO. She's been developing this technology along Professor Marcelo since 2015. And we have over 15 collaborators and partners working with us, most of them with PhDs, master's degrees, and MBAs. And I want to end this presentation with an invitation for you all. Let us change agriculture. I may get this wrong, but dziękuję bardzo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stone, for presenting us with the green nanotechnological solutions from Creeltech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we can move on to our next pitch from a Polish startup this time. And I would like to give the floor to the CEO and founder of C-Things, Mr. Arnold Wierzejewski. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a privilege and pleasure to present in front of all of you. So thank you for the invitation. There was a lot of talking about innovation, about cooperation between Poland and other countries within European Union. We are one of such examples because we are Polish-Austrian startup. My founder comes from Austria. I'm based in Poland. And luckily, we had this chance to be one of the investments from Invento and NCBIR. So if you are looking for smart money, we are one of the examples. I mean, at least we hope to be the smart investment. But yeah, let's just spend some time on talking about seatings. Allow me please to introduce seatings. Later after the presentation, feel free to join me at the virtual cocktail and let's have a chat afterwards. But yeah, let's get back to the short presentation about who we are and what we do. So in seatings, we are focusing on 5G, IoT, and edge computing. And we are doing our best to support our customers and clients to do business at scale in the domain of industrial revolution. But the topic of industrial revolution is not new. We are just trying to embed in this scope of different solutions and technologies our competence, which is around especially radio communication, about data analytics, building end-to-end solutions based on our building blocks, which are to be introduced in a second. So we are focusing on integrating what exists already, because one of presenters before said very nicely that machine-to-machine type of communication and all the industrial solutions are present in the domain of industries, utilities, also cities since like 70s. And now the topic is just to how to leverage capabilities of new technologies into bridging this gap and increase all sort of connected stuff like productivity, quality, sustainability, and so on. So then we talk about industrial revolution, we talk about IoT and 5G, but then how to measure this topic altogether. So there's one nice study that is showing that regardless of the size of the market, what is significant is that this type of business is growing yearly 80%. So now is the moment to start talking and start bridging 5G with industries, with Internet of Things, with all the sorts of sensors, connecting this to data analytical platforms, and so on. Our focus mainly is in the area of so-called 5G campus networks. So this is happening right now that the usage of 5G for enterprises is being opened, sort of democratization of access to the frequency happening in Europe, especially. And then if this access is more available to industries, to enterprises, our role here is to enable those industries to connect different use cases, different industrial solutions to benefit from the potential of 5G. And what is this potential? This potential is basically, okay, from one hand side, just giving you a faster connectivity, bigger pipe to transmit data, more reliable systems, more open and more kind of capable of giving the real-time operations to benefiting to real-time operations. And having said that, at the end of the story, it's about enabling applications, new sort of IoT applications in the domain of production, in the domain of logistics for those before mentioned enterprises. So what is our role and how we are doing this? So this is based on the efforts of our R&D. We have developed the so-called 5G suite of solutions. It's a conjunction of hardware. What you see on the picture is just a graphic of industrialized micro server with embedded 5G modem. That's really in short. This device is very easily integratable with the production lines, with the IoT networks, local IoT networks, and all the corresponding systems that are needed on the so-called shop floor or factory floor. To handle such a wide range of applications and such a wide range of computing, it requires very optimized operating system. And this is what is coming in package. To make this package complete, our customers expect to have a very simple single pane glass view and management over that. So we are also adding to the picture so-called orchestra. This orchestra is to have a fluent device management, but also have some sort of device twin for those distributed devices, and enable the applications to smoothly travel from the edge to the public cloud, to private cloud, and so on. As a result, it allows our partners and our customers to integrate to 5G networks a lot faster. It's a very technical solution that is packed in a very lightweight and kind of digestible format. So you don't need to have a sophisticated IT department to integrate your production floor to utilize 5G potential. We are making this happen for end customers to very easily maintain and operate such systems. So to decompose those and to summarize a bit, we have a multipurpose device that is bridging the gap between 5G backhaul networks and local wide area access networks. We have highly optimized operating system and orchestration platform to manage this all for end customers. So this starts to be recognized widely, not only in Poland, but also abroad. The key value proposition of that device platform is basically to be very open for integrations. Plus, it supports a wide range of interfaces, both industrial and telco interfaces. So it's like connecting two different kinds of worlds. This requires to operate the highly performant operating system. So unfortunately, in such a small form factor, installing well-known operating systems, even those open source unlicensed systems, is not enough. Because you can imagine, if you think about data centers and servers, they have a lot more capabilities and capacity than just in such a small form factor. This means we need to really focus a lot on making this performant enough, giving enough power to applications for data analytics at the edge, but still being small, handy, plug and play, installable. At the end of the story about the suite of solutions, there's this orchestration platform, which I said before, is just a single pane glass view about managing devices, controlling what happens, and allowing your operational teams to have a nice and simple maintenance over the 5G system, which sounds kind of innovative and new, but at the end of the day, it can be really, really lightweight and simply installable, usable. This is just to give you kind of a wider point of view about how we think about 5G networks for such enterprises. You can imagine how those various, sometimes crazy, sometimes innovative applications can cooperate. And thanks to our system, we are making it possible so you can have just one place to manage it all. Moving forward, I just want to give you some examples of integrations, because, okay, we can talk about technology, we can talk about benefits and capabilities, but you really can understand what it means when you see examples. So one of the examples is one of our projects that we are doing with Danish partners. It's a 5G connected cobot. 5G connected cobot is a collaborative robot that is working hand in hand with employees, physical workers, and it's very important that this cobot is packed with sensors. So whenever some unusual situation happens, your device at the edge should handle all the data and help you analyze the data and impact the decision making of such cobot. Not to screw through your hand or something, but work efficiently and be upgradable efficiently in field in real time. Another example of the system that we help to build and help to integrate is the smart industrial trackers. This is how we call them. Basically, by using 5G technology, you can enable real-time view on all of your inventory and all of your processes on the factory floor. This works in a way that local sensors are having its own mesh network. This mesh network is just monitoring presence of interconnected assets. The tricky part here is to make such system almost plug and play, almost maintenance free, because if we think about adding trackers to 1,000 objects, right, swapping batteries could be a pain in the back of your head. So what we did is we introduced sensors that are very dummy, but they can survive from 5 to 6 years on one battery. The TCO of such investment is very low, and we can do that the trackers are dummy, because all the computing, all the calculations are happening on our 5G gateway. So the mesh network informs about its locations of all the objects, and then 5G gateway gives you the computing to handle that operations, to calculate the locations, and then cloud platform is equipped with that data to support all the processes and give you meaningful insights from the shop floor. Another example of the integration we did based on our 5G suite of solutions are interconnected 5G AGVs. Those are mobile robots that are helping intralogistics within the factory floor. The problem with typical networks is that you will not achieve proper mobility utilizing only Wi-Fi. There are edge systems that are controlling the presence of those AGVs, making sure that they are not colliding, making sure that if you install several of those on your shop floor, they will not be hitting each other, because they will be aware about the presence of other members, let's say, of the hive. But then if you use Wi-Fi, moving from one access point to another will give you a drop in network for several seconds, which is unacceptable. So for security reasons, for efficient cycle of operations, you would like to connect those those AGVs with 5G. So we've done that trials as well. It works really, really well. Another example, this is last example from my portfolio of cases, is the video quality assurance. So 5G is a very new and specific technology, but it's a very highly performant in downlink. And not every experts are bold enough to say this like openly. The uplink in 5G is not that well done, which means you cannot freely upstream, let's say 10, 15, 20 HD or 4K streams through 5G system, through 5G connectivity, which basically means this video analytics has to happen at the edge. So when we connect the camera, that is, for example, like on the picture, doing assembly quality check, or given object, given good quality, then the processing of that sort of information has to happen at the edge. And through 5G network, you only transmit meaningful data after processing. And yeah, that's what we do in a nutshell with some of the examples. Our 5G suite of solutions is helping to bridge operational technologies for industrial enterprises with IT technologies, with 5G networks, with telco systems. So that was about seatings.co. Pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for listening. Feel invited to shoot me an email or visit me on LinkedIn, or after this presentation at the virtual cocktail place. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wierzejewski, for your impressive presentation. It is indeed. And for showcasing to us the solutions related to the so much awaited 5G network from Seatings. And thanks for reminding everyone that we have a virtual cocktail networking party right after the presentation. So everyone, please stay tuned. And now we move on to our next pitch, if I may say, from the Brazilian startup named Grau e Meio. And I give the floor to its CEO and founder, Mr. Ozzy Bambini.
Thank you very much. It's great to join you today. I'll show you, I'll tell you a little bit about Grão e Meio, and as soon as I have my presentation here. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go. So I'm the Chief of Innovability Officer at Grão e Meio, where we apply intelligence to reduce wildfires. Concerning wildfires, there are four main problems, four SDG impacts, straight impacts related to the wildfires. The first is that in the last 2 years, wildfires around the world had the highest intensity and CO2 emissions within the last 18 years. The loss of biodiversity will take more than 50 years in some areas of the Amazon, as we all followed happening in Australia, and also the toxic smoke from wildfires, aggravating respiratory issues even more, considering the pandemic we are being that's happening around the world. They have few cases and researching showing the aggravation of those problems. And as this research made by the Corporation of Quercus and Acréscimo in Portugal, the financial losses from forest fires are 6 times more expensive than the cost of prevention. So in Brazil alone, in the drier years, wildfires are the cause of the main cause of CO2 emissions. That's something that wasn't explored in the past, but as I believe some of you have read, Amazon is now emitting more CO2 than it's absorbing, so it's critical. And consider that fact, we developed Pantera, which is a fire management platform as a service. And Pantera explored the foundations of firefighting and translate the foundations into tech solutions. The foundations are related to prevention and preparation, early detection and fast response, operational and SDG impact indicators. We bring together the academy, researchers, scientists, as we call human tech, in order to solve real human problems with the climate tech. So if wildfire was a virus, we consider Pantera as a firewall. This is a framework from NIST cybersecurity, and it's really the pieces what you must do to protect the system is the same thing you must do to protect the forest. So our approach is we are somehow this firewall to protect the forest from the fire. So all our solutions are divided considering the first one from prevention. We build risk maps from the areas that we act, considering the pressure, human pressure, climatic pressure. We bring together the historical data to provide accuracy for fire brigades in order for them to locate themselves better. And considering the risk, you can increase the efficiency of the technology, integrate with local weather stations or even nano-satellite weather stations, and always wonder that climate is changing, so risk is changing. You never know what's coming next. So this is also, we can bring layers considering national information, our own algorithm. The other solution, considering not only prevention but analysis of the fire impact, it's a solution that it's a Brazilian bird called Gavião Fumaça, which indicates the severity and the biomass that was lost during a wildfire. That also helps us to measure CO2 emissions considering the biomass and intensity of the fire. This is also provide layers, possible analysis from different kind of solutions. So then we start the early detection. Detection plays a great part in what we do because you can have the best prevention system. You can have the best algorithm to prevent risk, but you never know what happens in human mind. Human mind, because humans are the cause of more than 90% of all wildfires in the world. So it's not possible to prevent when 30 people come together and decide to burn, like what happened in Greece, like the day of fire in Brazil. So in areas bigger than 400,000 hectares, Where is human activity? Where is human ignition at the most important fact? You must have an early detection in order to act fast. So we'll show you a little examples of our algorithm from Pantera, which we balisate to detect around 15 kilometers, but it went through with the new algorithm. We're reaching farther than that. As you can see, this one, which was amazing, it detected a fire from 25 kilometers away. That's great for us and for the client also. So then we go to satellite backup detection. Satellites suffer for a little delay considering the relation to cameras. And this availability of the satellite, it's not a constant thing. So it's something that you can rely on because you never know if it's going to happen in 20 minutes or just the next day. So, but we believe satellites are improving and we are certain wave 2. And then we bring together the satellite detection and the camera analysis because that will do the right protocol of action. That will do what, because everything is connected. I have to prevent, I have to prepare, I have to detect, and I have to respond. And then in order to respond, we have the operational module, which brings together all the firefighting information, the resources that was sent, the time spent, the neighbors, where are my neighbors? The neighbors, they got trucks, they have water spots, where is the best roads, or everything that's happening here is the data is being collected to provide future data. So this is the management module. The management module translates the operational module from any site all over the world that you can check what's going on. You can check the picture, you can check the risk, you can check the weather, you can check everything that's going on field. You also can contract only that solution if you're not willing to have towers or it's not worth for the project. So the platform can be integrated with trackers. We can track the trucks. We can track the firefighters. We also can integrate drones. Drones is also something that we are developing. We are looking for more autonomous drones. We believe in the near future it will be possible to substitute part of our towers for drones, but it's not now. This is the operational impact. It's brought by numbers and it's customized. It can be translated in Excel files and also SDG impacts. We are now measuring at start the CO2 emissions from wildfires. This is the part of hardware, which also are able in Brazil mostly to integrate the solutions. Also now in Portugal, we work with a big communications starting a project in Portugal. This is somehow how the towers work when it's available. And this is just a look of a bigger picture of the platform, the operational module, the management module, what's come together in each one of them, and the integration of risk maps, satellite detection, all the infrastructure of hardware is possible too, and the SCAR maps, and the impact, we are consultative solutions. So just to tell about how we measure the CO2 emissions report, we build a line of a comparative analysis considering a historical baseline. So we monitor after the project is set and then compare, bringing how the efficiency of the project acts by reducing the losses. We have a few projects starting now at Pantanal, which we are calling Embrace the Forest, and Embrace Pantanal, which will be a project together with JBS, the major food producer in the world. It's one of the most bigger food projects in the world. It will cover 2,500,000 hectares of forest in this first stage, which will be 11 monitoring towers and 3 situation rooms. It will also bring the results of the environmental impacts of what we are bringing. And also a new project that we are working together with a few friend startups, considering the traceability of all soy chain of production. And it brings together red projects, data from the juridical data, and also it brings all together in a stamp we call in a hyper. Well, our commitment is with life. We are a CBI certified company now. We are growing fast. We are studying in Europe, studying also in a few months in United States, trying to impact this 4 major SDGs, and we are being certified by Bureau Veritas and climate certified that we endorse that those impacts. In Brazil, we are now covering 9 million hectares, considering the Pantanal onboarding, and which 4 million hectares are from protected lands in 11 states, all the biomes of Brazil, and now reaching 86 towers in big forestry companies, agriculture companies, and now mining companies too. So this is our team. We are a 33 people team with diverse ages and multifunctional. And also we have very good advisors assisting us, helping us to challenge us to raise our bars. And here's my contacts. Feel free to reach me. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brambini, for your great presentation and for showing us the high-tech solutions from 1,5 Grau, which helps fight wildfires, which is clearly a very pressing issue given all the threats the whole world faces due to climate changes. And now I would like to go to our next startup, Polish one this time, and that is Spartax. And for that, I would like to give the floor to its CEO and founder, Mr. Sławomir Uchawa. I hope I said it right.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Rorbek, and I will take this keynote up for Mr. Huchawa because he didn't reach us today. I would like to thank you for having me here and the opportunity to present to you our company and our latest accomplishments. So the company was founded in 2014 by Mr. Huchawa and his associates. And as a construction office, it consists of constructors, designers, and engineers, which deliver the technology at unique level, even on a global scale. So, as my predecessor mentioned, that he's not able to reach the really professional drones that can be operating in the harsh weather conditions. So one of our main topics was to divide our products from the toys that can be bought in every electronic store. And we use the different names for it, the dronoids. What's important, all of our products give us an answer to specific need of the market called by individual customers. So, for example, if someone is looking for specialized drones that can help him to surveillance the mission during the firefighting, the wildfire, they can reach us and ask us to prepare the solutions which gives him some additional effect. Yeah. So the first of the products I would like to present is the firefighter system. As you can see on the photo, all of the drones is covered by special prepared shields made of carbon fiber. So it's the shields enable the drone to get into the even the drone can drive through the convection columns where the temperature can reach hundreds of Celsius degrees. So, but it's not only the one thing that this drone is divided by the rest of the market. The second unique selling propositions of the system is the opportunity to image analysis, which process the data on board and gives us the possibility ways of the fire spread during the firefighting missions. So it's really important thing that can give some additional help to firefighters to know where they should go to avoid the fire spread. The last but not least feature is the capability of fast neutralization of the fire starters, which are the main issue when it comes to firefighting in the wildfire. If we will stop the starter, there is a huge chance to avoid the fire spread on the bigger scale. So now I would like to present some short video footage which show how we deal with the fire starters. So as you can see, the technicians are loading the drone with the special extinguishing agent. At the single mission, the drone can take with it up to 8 kilo of the extinguishing agent. The agent is lowering the temperature on the ground and also deleting all of the oxygen around the fire, which led us to quick neutralize the fire starter. Okay. The propulsion set of the firefighter is based on our top of the top construction Hermes V8M. Can we go back to the presentation? No, not the movie, but the presentation. Oh, super. So the firefighter propulsion set was based on the Hermes V8, one of our most famous platform, which has been designed to cover long distances in hard weather conditions with extraordinary lifting capabilities. Hermes, thanks to its multi-pin electromechanical socket, is able to carry versatile expansions modules, which can be changed without using any tools. So we can take with us the zoom camera, the infrared camera, or some special design to its purpose cargo compartments. So yeah, it is one of our most versatile drone, and with it last year during the pandemic peaks, we were asked by the Ministry of Health to provide the pilot missions to prove that the technology, our technology, and the law regulations in Poland are ready to carry the transport of COVID-19 samples between the hospitals and the laboratories. So, as an answer, we provide 2 missions in the city of Warsaw, together with the Polish Civil Aviation Authority and Polish Air Navigation Services Agency, validating our procedures and technical readiness of the technology. So, one of the most important fact, we were the first company which was allowed to carry such kind of complex mission in the capital city in Europe. So if I may ask to present the next video. Okay, over here we can see the second mission, which took place also in Warsaw, as I mentioned. We built an air bridge between the temporary hospital set up on the National Stadium, which can be seen on the picture, and the hospital of the one of the ministries. So As you can see over here, we are showing the image analysis system, which can brings the security of the mission on the totally different level, because even if the drone will lost the connectivity of GSM or our radio stations, it can still continue the mission with the data of the image analysis. So they can, the drone based on the image image analysis system always know where it is and is able to continue the mission. So that is the first landing. We delivered the samples from the temporary hospital to the laboratory in the hospital of the ministry. And then we set up the second parcel and let the drone to go over to the start. At the picture you can see the our ground control station. Every single mission that we provided in Warsaw was maintained from our headquarters in Mikołów, the city that is more than 300 kilometers away from the capital, and all of the mission was supervised from our headquarters. Okay. After the success of the last year pilots with medical shipments, we started the first commercial services with the retail sport chain Decathlon. So it's throughout all of the Europe. They are present. So also Hermes delivered goods directly to the customer property from the shop, and the drones enable the inner transport, really fast inner transport between the two shops in the same city, to ensure that if the customer is looking for some good that isn't on the stock at the specified shop, the shop can easily get the same good from a different shop in the same city, and it could be done in less than 10 minutes. So once again, I will ask the technicians to put the video on. Yeah, okay. So one of the challenges was that the city of Lublin is placed on the heights. So during the whole mission, we were struggling with the really hard gusts of the wind. So the wind could easily get up to 18 meters per second. But even in such kind of harsh conditions, the Hermes took the mission completely without any issues. So over here we can see the delivery to the customer directly from the shop, and then the drone start over and continued its mission to deliver the goods to the other store, because the customer was waiting at the store for the goods that weren't at the stock at that time. Yeah. The mission was also done or maintained by the technicians, the pilots that were located in Mikołów in our headquarters. And the second biggest project, where we put the bar even higher for our competitors, was the project that we took 2 months later in Warsaw again. So we proceed with 17 deliveries within 6 different cities in Poland. Together with Microsoft, we delivered the special kind of controllers for the Microsoft Flight Simulator game for the influencers and some video games footage creators on YouTube. So Also, this time we prepared some video footage that showed the mission. Over here we can see the cargo compartments that I've mentioned before. We can easily prepare the cargo compartment directly for the shape and the size of the parcel that we have to deliver. And all of the missions were prepared in the strictly city centers of Warsaw, Krakow, Łódź, Katowice, and other different big cities in Poland. Once again, all of the missions were secured and planned throughout our headquarters in Mykolów. All of the missions were supervised by the Polish air navigation services throughout the system PANSA. So we've done everything that we did, or we weren't been asked for, to secure the missions to deliver the goods in the most secured way. As you can see, also the parcels weren't the smallest ones. So we took the cargo. I think the weight of the cargo was up to 8 kilos even. So it weren't the piece of cake, yeah, for such kind of drone. So why we did everything like this before? After this project, we got the experience and knowledge how complex shipping services provided by drones should like, and what are the limitations and capabilities of drones as a parcel shipping vehicles. Based on these thoughts, we prepared our complex dronoid transportation system, where Hermes drones are moving throughout the cities collecting the parcels and using our integrated ground infrastructure, and combine the infrastructure and the drones with the ultralight planes. We are able to offer on the market the service that will connect both ends of the Poland, which will take approximately 600 kilometers within 2, maybe 3 hours. So one last time I will ask for the video footage, and I will explain how the system works. So the most important thing, there is also of course an application where we are registering the parcels. Over here, yeah, this is the application, and here on the screen you can see the Dronomat station, which allows the customer to send the package, and the package is automatically put on the drone. The drone is collecting the package, and therefore it is going for the destination on the airport. When it comes to the delivery on the bigger scale, on the bigger distances. So if the drone capabilities of the flight are limited to 40 kilometers, when it takes to cover the distance up to 1,000 kilometers, we are using this ultralight plane. Thanks to it, we can ensure the customer that its shipping will be done in less than, I don't know, half day, and we can easily reach also the boundary countries around the Poland as well. So the parcel is landed on the airport. There is, and then it's collected by the operator. Once again, put it on the drone, and the drone is delivering the goods up to customer directly on his property. So yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm looking forward to answer your question in the meeting room. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Spartak, for the great presentation. It was impressive to see all the high-end developments, technological developments in terms of drones and literally all the services they can deliver. And I hope that Spartax and Grau Email can start collaborating very soon. Okay, so moving on in our demo day, let's now listen from a Brazilian startup, Kiron Digital, and to present its solutions, I give the floor to its CEO and founder, Mr. Diego Machado.
Hi for everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to present Kiron for all of you. So if you allow me to show the presentation, I will speak more about what we do here in Brazil. Perfect. So Kiron works building algorithms for forestry. We have more than 20 years studying geodetic sciences. My partner has PhD in geodetic science, and we have a lot of forest engineer and other people in research and development here in Brazil working for forestry. And we are working, we are delivering solutions for four countries, Morocco, Portugal, United States, and Brazil. And I am the CMO of Kiron. I work at last 6 years doing innovation for companies. And now we are doing that for Kiron and forest companies. One thing that we believe that is the algorithms that we are building comes from satellite data, and we are facing a new age of space race. If you saw the first satellite, Sputnik, in 957, it's just radio information, radio waves. Later, you have the first image from Explorer 6. Then you have the first geostationary image. And then in 967, you have the first colored image from Earth. And just in 1999, you have the first picture in high resolution. Okay, so then you have the very high resolution, and the technology is going step by step, going better for the time. So then you have Capella. Capella, you have SAR. SAR, it's radar imagery, so you don't need to have daylight. You can see the results, the data with clouds. So it's amazing technology. And then you have SPAR. SPAR, it's a nanosatellite information of weather, and they can provide weather information from around the world. So new constellations are going to all the world, and we need to build algorithms with this type of really amazing data. And this is what we are doing now here in Kiron, because satellites can get large areas, they can increase the productivity, they can provide wildfire prediction. This is one of our solutions. Deforestation, harvest management. So a lot of possibilities you have with satellites. And one of the solutions that we have, it's one solution called Flatulence. And Flatulence, it's our wildfire prediction. We can predict wildfire with 7 days in advance and with 10 meters resolution. And we are achieving 9% of accuracy. You have a lot of technology in the chain of wildfires, but what we are doing it's to increase the possibility to combat fires before they happen. And we are doing that in California, we are doing that in Portugal, we are doing that in Amazon, and this is what the case study that I want to present today. We take one area in Amazon called Humaitá, and we have a lot of inputs for the algorithms. We have green information, we have blue information, red information, infrared information, and with all this data, with these all hyperspectral possibilities, um, we we start to build algorithms like declivity, like slope. We can see the fill material from the ground. We can see the hydraulic stress, and with all this information, vegetation, uh, slope, weather, and human presence, we can deliver, like human presence, like you are seeing right now, we can deliver the prediction. And the prediction has 6 risks, and one is the critical points, that is the black dots that you are seeing right now. And the black dots, it's the place that you need to go there and do something before they happen. Um, we believe in cameras, we believe in drones. I think that all this type of technology needs to work together, but we believe that the prevention it's the best scenario for mitigate wildfires, and for that we can deliver something predictions like that. We have 4 clusters of prediction, and with this prediction we can see the real fires that occurred in the same week. That is the same 4 clusters. So the same 4 clusters, we have a partnership with Aurora Tech, and they can provide the monitoring of wildfire occurring. And the same place that the fire is occurring this week, it's the same place that we could predict for Humaitá. And this is amazing because we are reaching 90% of accuracy. And this type of accuracy can allow the team in the ground to see exactly the place that they need to go before the wildfire happens. And in the next week, we saw three clusters of critical points, and in the same place you have the real fires in the same place that we could predict. So this type of information, it's amazing for firefighters, for forestry companies, for sugarcane industry. A lot of people can prevent wildfires with this type of tool. Cameras like Ingrao Email can see this type of prediction and put the cameras to see exactly the black points. The drones can see exactly if you have one deforestation or something like that in this black point. So we want to combat wildfires before they happen. Uh, so we will have an increase of the possibilities of the imagery with more resolution, like world view, with more satellites, with more frequency, with more spectral bands, that is Sentinel-2 and the new hyperspectral. So with all this type of data, all of this number of satellites, that is more than 55,000 new satellites coming up. So this new data needs to do a better algorithm with this type of data, and this is what we are doing. The first market, it's huge, and we can provide this type of algorithm for forestry, natural forests, or commercial forests.
that we could do this. But how? The idea was to gather the data from different sources and then to properly present. We have discovered that there are many systems, there are many integrators, there are many brokers, but finally the data are not clearly presented or analyzed and so on. So we decided to prepare such. And then we decided it is not enough to know how to integrate the data. It means to know the structure of the data, but our goal was to understand the data. So before we are starting to integrate something, our team spent time and put effort to understand and we tried to, initially we tried to understand like simple measurements like temperature or pollution and so on. But finally, we just started to cooperate with some scientists, and we just we are also to understand the hyperspectral data, to vegetation indexes, and so on. And then we try to put it into some platform and to use this platform. The first chance we had to test this platform in the real life was the smart city. Smart city has many different measurements, many different sources of data. So we decided to test it on the smart city, but then we discovered that it's very easy to use this platform in other areas like monitoring some energetic companies. Even we discovered that we are able to do some predictions, to analyze like just before my colleague before said, to analyze satellite data and to do some predictions and so on. And we started to the papers to read what other scientists discover, and just to put the IT knowledge, our IT experience into together with the scientific knowledge and to put into our product. And maybe I will show. This product is called Command Center. It means that the idea is not just to know how the data works from point of view this platform to prepare the special sensors and so on. We understand the data, we understand the relation from the data, but someone is preparing the equipment and so on and giving us the structure of the data and so on. But finally, we are putting everything together. And as you can see, for us, for example, the position of the municipal police car is the same data as a level of the river for flood sensor, or maybe the position of the firefighters actions. Even the weather data it's very important for us because we can do some predictions and so on. So when we have the data, we can combine those data somehow. We can find the relationships, but it's not enough. When we know the data, when we can measure the data, and we know how the data is constructed and what are the proper values, what are the warning values, and if there is something not working well or there is some problem, we can show this problem. So the first idea is to show the data. The next is to show to the operator or to the decision maker that there is a problem and show the source of the problem. And then the decision maker or the operator can drill down exactly to the point when the problem occurred, and then it can fire the process, the special process. So we are showing the data, we are correlating the data, and then we allow the operator to run particular process, or even we can do some automation, and for some process it could be then automation. For example, if there is some water level in the river above some limits, then without any intervention from the operator, some process is fired, and then there are sent some text messages, emails, or so on to the proper service to take an action. So the system is helping to manage something. The first thing we started to manage, it was the city, and you probably know the city because some of you are from Katowice. So this smart city system working in Katowice was built in mostly with our efforts and with our knowledge with other companies, but for us it was very good chance also to test the system we propose to integrate in so your cases. So let's move on. So the idea of the system is based on the map. So each component is located somewhere on the map. So the geolocation indicator, so geolocation coordinates, and then you can put this component. Of course, like the city or like some big buildings, areas, or even you can monitor forests or something like that. So you put your data, you put your objects, your areas on the map and put indicators. And if the map is showing that there is something wrong, for example, we can see the red icon, it means for us, for the operator, that there is something wrong with our object. Yes, in our case, for example, we were monitoring the infrastructure, the energetic station, for example. There is a Polish company which has many energetic stations, and as a proof of concept, we created such system, and then for example, there is one operator for the whole country, and if there is something wrong with this particular object, then the operator is calling the proper service to investigate what is going on. So we can see the object on the map, but it's not enough. Even the object has some buildings and so on. So we can even monitor the internal of the building. So if we have plans of the buildings, we can put it in our system, and if we can put the sensors, you can see the sensors for fire, for other indicators, and then we can know exactly what is going on within this building. So as you can see from the point of view of the whole country, we see that we drill down to the floor of one building, and we can just tell to the service or to the police or to the firefighters what is going on and when to go to resolve the problem. The other integration is air quality sensors. And for example, city Katowice is a city which focus on the health, on the people, on the well-being, and so on. And they installed almost 300 pollution sensors. And then using these sensors in our system, we are able to present the values, to present if there is something wrong with the pollution, if the level is too much, but also there is very easy to predict the values. Having the coordinates, having the historical data, you can do some prediction for the values, and for example, you are able to just send in advance information to some schools that the next on the next day there will be a chance that the pollution is too high, please not go out of the building, and so on. So that's the current system in Katowice, and this value, the data is exposed to the citizens. So the system is exposed to the citizens, that they can see the prediction and so on. And also Katowice has installed flood sensors, which they are helping with some problems. When the river is there are some rains, and the problem is with the level of the water in the river. So then also some operator can take some action and to avoid some flooding and so on, using these sensors and so on. But having information, we are also monitoring the weather forecast, and having such information, we are able to correlate the data and to put the prediction. For example, on the flood or something like that. Of course, one of other we prepared some demo for our customer, was to monitor refinery. So it was demanded to understand the process, of course, because when we start to do something, we had to understand the data. And then, for example, it was very important in tank level, there is some how much air is in the tank level, and so on and so on. But finally, it could be just object to monitor on our country map. Of course, we can monitor the traffic. There are many services. Now we are using TomTom service for monitoring traffic, where we are getting the data, and then having the traffic, and the operator, city operator, can do some actions when he can see that there is some congestion and so on. He can coordinate the service, or to move to choose different way and so on. It's very useful because we can combine those data. Even on the same map, we can put different data, different indicators. Of course, the city has own surveillance systems, and to provide the intelligent video analytic is a must. No one is able to see the 200 cameras and to monitor them, because the human is not able to do this. Maybe in 5 minutes it's possible, but not more. So intelligent video analytic is also a must for any system. We have some also prepared some edge system for helping to monitor industrial facilities and integrate into our system. Of course, just license plate recognition, it's a common to open the gate and so on. So that's for us. It's also easy. And in cooperation with Silesian University, we were also able to show the data from the satellites. Yes, on the same slides as a different layer. and then for us it's different kind of the data, but it's very easy now. We can exchange some lidar data, multispectral data, and so on, and then correlate them and combine them, and everything in one system, everything in one hand for one operator who can do this. Of course, the system is able to split the roles. Someone will be responsible, you have access to different layers, someone has access to different okay, I have information that we should just finish, so let me move on to the end. And this advanced correlation engine, we based on open source. So most of the scientists are not focusing on coding in C++ or other language. So Python or R is very good language, and we are open for such information. So our advanced correlation engine can use any language and can use any knowledge from any scientist to put and to correlate those different kind of the data. Okay, so that's the list of firm we were cooperating with. That's maybe finally. Thank you very much. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Galka, and thanks for showing your solutions to making the world a better place. And indeed, the smart cities are the future. So now I invite, thank you very much. So now I invite everyone to move on to the virtual cocktail network meeting. And you can do this by clicking on the tab. If you look above on the top of the screen, you have a few tabs, and one of them says virtual cocktail. So we move on to that tab, and on there, you're gonna have different sessions, session groups, different groups with different startups. So you join one of them or more, and then you can talk to the startup representative, ask questions. And in case you don't have the time or you won't have the opportunity, remember you can always come to the website of BraSilesia. So it's brasilesia.com. You can see here on the screen how to spell BraSilesia, very easy.com, and you can write us an email with all your queries. So see you on the virtual cocktail room. Thank you very much.